Crafting the perfect cold open isn't the easiest thing to do. For Star Trek, there will always be that section of the audience who has seen it all, and therefore impressing them with something new and shocking is a tall order. To be frank, Trek doesn't always land on deck. A cold open must drop us directly into the plot and grab a hold of us. How to do that when Star Trek is best known for cerebral, long-form stories? Any writer will tell you that the opening line of a book is the most important. It's how you hook your audience. Following that, the first paragraph needs to keep the reader's attention, and so on. The same is true for film and television. So many of our favourite episodes open in a way so attention-grabbing that it's hard to let go. Then, some tackle the problem from a different direction, choosing a quiet, intriguing instigation of events over the bombastic approach. With a mix of styles and substances, these openings are the ones that were able to successfully hold us from the jump, regardless of whether the rest of the episode lived up to the start. I'm Sean Ferrick for TrekCulture, and here are the 10 most intense Star Trek cold opens. Number 10. Cause and Effect. What is more intense than watching your favourite ship and crew explode in a ball of flame? Doing it multiple times, we suppose, although we weren't to know that was in store as Cause and Effect burst onto our screens in 1992. The infamous time loop episode, directed by Jonathan Frakes, began with a bang. The audience is given no context or any time to breathe. The ship's starboard nacelle is on fire, throwing the Enterprise D into a spin. On board, the crew is scrambling to gain control of the situation before Picard gives that fateful order to abandon ship, to no avail. No one escapes as the hero ship of the Next Generation is destroyed. Cut to credits. This cold open is a masterwork in grabbing and holding the audience's attention. Why is this happening? Who is responsible? Why does Ro Laren have that haircut? These are all questions that need answering. You can bet good money that everyone came back after the credits finished rolling. Number 9. The Devil in the Dark. The classic The Devil in the Dark teaches the audience that just because different life forms may come in various shapes and sizes, they may not be so different from each other. Having said that, the cold open to this first season episode of the original series is chilling with a side of nightmare. On Janus 6, some thing has been terrorising the colony. With echoes of the great horror B-movies of years past, Schmitter takes his position at the guard post, clearly afraid and almost ready to bolt. Chief Vanderberg assures him that he'll be fine. He has his phaser after all, and he can just cry for help if needs be, bringing the rest of the team to him. He does cry for help, but it's far too late. The eponymous beast rises before him, terrifying the man before the screen cuts away. When the rest of the miners arrive, all that remains is a pile of burnt ashes, all that's left of Schmitter. Cut to credits. Number 8. Tapestry. It's a Wonderful Life for some, but certainly not for Johnny Pickard in Star Trek's take on the classic Christmas tale. Though everything may come to a happy ending by the episode's close, opening the story with a dying captain in Worf's arms made audiences sit up straight. The only context that we're given is Dr. Crusher preparing to receive casualties before the group materializes directly into sickbay. These officers were mid-fight, a point confirmed by Riker moments later. But all eyes are on Jean-Luc, the burn on the front of his uniform, and his subconscious form. Things flash to white, just to confuse us further. Picard stands, seemingly alone, in a wide open space. John Delancey's unmistakable voice floats through the air, confirming the captain's death. This 6th season episode did not allow for a moment's pause before jumping into the opening credits, leaving the audience reeling, just as shocked as Patrick Stewart's face on their screens. Number 7. The Killing Game. Following Star Trek Voyager for 3.5 years means that one grows close to its characters, particularly those with whom one spends the most time. If killing Picard in Tapestry and everyone in Cause and Effect worked, then why not try it again? Captain Janeway was, usually, a human being, so seeing her in full Klingon regalia, with a forehead to match, was an eye-opener as the killing game began. With a mek'leth in hand, she fends off foes, including a Hirogen Alpha, a member of a newly introduced race of aliens. Kate Mulgrew gave it all she had in the swift, brutal combat, baring her teeth and growling with enough gusto to give Gowron a smile. Still, the Hirogen ducks, weaves and dives, plunging a dagger straight into her chest. Without any concern, he lifts a Starfleet comm badge and calls for her to be sent to sickbay. Why was Janeway Klingon? Who was this Hirogen hunter? Why did he have a comm badge? We yearned to know more, and we weren't disappointed. Number 6. The Best of Both Worlds. The finale of The Next Generation's 3rd season is, of course, one of the most renowned episodes of Star Trek overall. It, when combined with its conclusion, shaped so much of the franchise to follow. How many times have other events been compared to Wolf 359 by now? The first part opens with the Enterprise D arriving at Joure 4, responding to a distress call that was abruptly cut off. Though the ship is ready to assist, they find their services no longer required, as there is no one left to need them. It's a dark, frightening way to kick things off, with that matte painting based on a meteor crash site in Arizona, according to the text commentary on the Star Trek Fan Collective DVDs, giving the scene a sense of scale. To anyone familiar with that arc, this was a direct reference to the colonies scooped up in the first season finale, The Neutral Zone. The Next Generation had not really ventured into horror, barring an exploding officer or two, before this opener. The scene set the stage for the arrival of the Borg in the Alpha Quadrant and the fundamental shift in the Star Trek universe forevermore. Number 5. The Expanse. Star Trek has changed the game so many times in its history that this phrase is in danger of losing meaning. However, the finale of Enterprise's second season opened with a scene so shocking and devastating that there's no other way to describe it. Here, on a show with a jaunty pop rock tune for its opening credits, was the 22nd century equivalent of 9/11. The Xindi, we would come to learn, launched their probe against Earth, firing a laser that cut a swathe through the American eastern seaboard, leaving 7 million lives lost. It was sudden, it was stunning, and it came out of nowhere. This cold open was deliberately designed to evoke memories of the attack on the World Trade Center barely 2 years prior. The efficacy of the Xindi arc is an ongoing debate in Trek fandom, though there is little argument that it began with a powerful statement of intent. It may have been a little too close to home, too close to the event, but the Expanse set out to shock us, and it achieved that in spades. Number 4. The Last Generation. The finale episode of Star Trek Picard serves as a culmination of that show's arc, and also as a fitting end to, as Picard says himself, a story that began over 35 years prior. Jean-Luc's dealings with the Borg, seemingly completed in Star Trek First Contact, come back to haunt him as the Enterprise D rushes toward the Sol system. This cold open began with a great surprise. Walter Koenig returned to Star Trek for the first time since Star Trek Generations, this time playing Anton Chekhov, President of Earth. Echoing the words of another president over a century earlier, he warns all approaching ships to avoid Earth at all costs. On screen, after a nod to the Next Generation's opening credits, the Enterprise D crew grimly face the truth. No one is coming to help them. Picard sets the stakes, ordering that the Borg must be destroyed no matter the cost. They have his son, they have the younger officers in Starfleet, and they have the fleet. As the Galaxy-class ship faces off against the Cube, dwarfed by it, it seems as though this cavalry has no hope. They look set to complete their mission regardless. The pacing, music and performances all combine to create one of the tensest scenes in Picard, as well as one of the most intense cold opens in the Star Trek universe. Number 3. Scorpion. Scorpion may be the gold standard when it comes to cold opens in Star Trek. It is certainly among the shortest, while also being the most shocking. The Borg, the greatest enemy that the Federation had ever known, float in 2 enormous cubes towards the screen. Though they implore us not to resist, we needn't have been concerned. They're all dead, burning in their vaporized ships, all of this in not even a minute on the clock. The introduction of Species 8472 could not have been handled better, proving the old adage, the unseen monster is the scariest. It worked for Bruce the Shark back in 1975, and it worked for the Tripedal Menace in Scorpion. Number 2. Such Sweet Sorrow Part 2. Star Trek Discovery's second season came to a head with Such Sweet Sorrow Part 2, the culmination of several arcs and the final episode set in the show's 23rd century. As such, it includes a previously on to remind the audience how things had gotten to this point, before the adrenaline truly kicks up a notch. Across the Discovery and the Enterprise, the two crews prepare for battle. The engineering team on Discovery construct a new Red Angel suit, while Reno charges the Klingon Time Crystal. Emperor, now Captain Giorgio, boards Discovery just in time for Leland, the revenant in the grip of control, to hail them all. Saru and Pike are steely-eyed against dead eyes, both espousing hope and courage. Then, the Section 31 fleet splinters as hundreds of support craft detach from their parent ships, dwarfing the resistance against them, all before the credits roll. Saru's words, quoting Sun Tzu, reminding those around them to be the director of their opponent's fate, seem small in the face of so much opposition. It all builds to a crescendo, and the standoff is ready to explode. Number 1. Sacrifice of Angels. Sacrifice of Angels differs from the first few entries on this list, as it is the closing part of a multi-episode story. Operation Return was the name of the game as two large fleets faced off against each other. In the moments before those first Federation fighters began their attack, the mood was tense on the Defiant. A cold open can serve as a recap statement while also throwing the audience into the action. Here, there is the short previously on segment, establishing how we got there. The ambient sounds fall away as Captain Sisko orders his forces to target the Cardassians, giving Nog, and thereby the audience, the chance to question his tactics. This is followed by O'Brien and Bashir reciting a passage from The Charge of the Light Brigade by Lord Alfred Tennyson. That too told the story of a smaller force engaging insurmountable odds. How does that story play out? As O'Brien tells Nog, you don't want to know. Salivating, the audience hoped things would go better for Starfleet. And thank you very much for watching along. You are awesome, you are wonderful, and we really appreciate your support. Please make sure, if you haven't already, to hit that subscribe button. It makes such a difference when you do. Please make sure you're following us on the various socials. We are at TrekCulture. You can catch us at TrekCultureYT on Instagram, and follow myself at Sean Ferrick as well. Until I see you again, things may be intense, things may be cold, but you are awesome. Live long and prosper, look after yourself, and I'll chat to you soon. Thanks very much.